As we are in February, it is time to return to our edible herbaceous perennials. Now, if you remember back in November, I actually put an A-frame up around my asparagus to stop it from rocking as it had gone to fern. Now, at the time, it was this lovely, glorious green colour, but as you can tell, it's certainly overwintered and it started to die back. So now's the time to have removed that A-frame, and it is absolutely time to be cutting these down. Now, very simply, all you need to be doing for this is just going right to the root of the asparagus and just cutting it all the way down. Now, what you might find as you're doing this is that some of the asparagus ferns inside the canes are actually hollow. Now, this is the perfect time because if we do have any cold weather on its way, what will happen is if there's any hibernating asparagus beetle inside these canes, then actually that cold weather will get to them and it will, in theory, get rid of them. Now, once you've actually done this, it is the perfect opportunity to have a good weed as well. Now, if you have any deep set weeds and you leave them until the asparagus starts to actually point up, what you'll find is you could very easily just knock the top of those spears off. So do your weeding at this time of year will actually avoid that from happening. Now, once I've actually cut all of these down, what I'm going to do next is I am actually going to give it a really good mulch again once those weeds have been cleared, and that's going to help to feed these crowns so that come the end of April, as we're going into May, which is our asparagus season, they're going to be nicely fed, they're going to be really well looked after, and we should get some really good harvest. Now, our asparagus is not our only herbaceous perennial edible that we can be sorting out this time of year. We can also be looking at things like our artichokes or our cardoons. When it comes to artichokes, there's a number of different varieties. You do have your Jerusalem artichokes, which I don't yet have. We have got our cardoons and we have got our globe artichokes. Now, globe artichokes and cardoons do look very, very similar if you look at the leaf structure themselves. Now, these cardoons I actually grew from seed about 6 or 7 years ago, and they were advertised as being artichokes, but they're not, and there's a number of differences between them. The first is how you actually harvest them if you're wanting to cook. Now, with your cardoons, it's not the globe that you eat, it's actually the stem itself. Now, that's a bit of a faff, so I usually leave it just for the bees. They still get those really beautiful purple flowers on, but nowhere near as big and bulbous as your globe artichokes. Now, with the cardoons, they will also, because our perennials come back year after year, and these have been doing brilliantly for, as I say, 6 or 7 years. Now, with your globe artichokes, in the first year, different to maybe if you're doing asparagus, when it starts to flower, you want to cut the flower off, and that's purely and simply because you want all the energy to go back into the plant. Now, this will also get very big, so when we're planting it, we have to think about our space. So I'm going to plant them next to my cardoons, but a little bit of distance away from them, so I'm almost creating a perennials edible bed here. Now, they don't like weeds, so I'm going to have to make sure that this area is nicely weeded, and they do like a good feed when you're planting them. So I'm going to put some of this soil improver into the ground first of all. I'm then going to make sure that this root is well and truly buried down. A bit more soil improver over the top. And then I'm just going to literally bed that into the ground. Now, they don't need too much watering. If we think about where they come from, they are Mediterranean in their origins. So actually these are perfect if we think about how much heat we are getting in the summer at the moment. These plants will just grow and they will look glorious. And come next year, I should also be able to get some beautiful, beautiful globe artichokes, maybe alongside my asparagus.